What's up, everybody? This week I want to talk about things Destiny 2 does well, in my opinion, and things I like that Bungie have done at recently or whatever. Last week I gave criticisms of the game and talked about things that I don't like and kind of offered up some solutions, maybe. But yeah, I'm not just shilling for Bungie. These are things that I like about the game and keep me coming back. If you have no positive opinions about Destiny 2 and you don't think Bungie has the capability to make it better, then maybe it's not the game for you, and maybe you should walk away from the community because obviously you don't like it. So, let's just get into things that I like about Destiny. First of all, I want to say thank you, Bungie, for coming forward and talking about the server issues. While personally I wish it came sooner, I'm grateful that you guys acknowledged it and gave us an explanation. However technical, I do think that is a good thing because it puts into reference that this isn't just, well, if you just flip a switch, it'll be fixed. Because that's like never the reality of the situation. So I'm grateful that Bungie came forward and say, yeah, this is the problem. Here's a rough timeline. I just wish we got that sooner. But getting into the actual list that I have, loose list of things. First, the battle pass. And hold on. Generally, I don't like battle passes in games, but somehow Bungie has made theirs slightly better than like everyone else's. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but compared to other games where it's like, here's just useless cosmetics for every rank until maybe 100 where you get something a little bit cooler. You have value distributed pretty evenly throughout the battle pass, and people may say it's pay to win because it has the bonus XP, you get the exotic sooner, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff isn't really necessary. Like, for the most part, the battle pass, the season pass, whatever, isn't the pass itself. It is the seasonal story content that you get with it. The battle pass just feels like a free addition to it that you get for paying for that story content, is all it feels like, to me at least. And I feel like that helps bolster the battle passes not as bad. Next, I want to talk about a new addition to the game, deep sight harmonizers. I love these in theory, I just wish there's more ways to get them. Maybe Xur could sell them every once in a while. Or in the Enclave on Mars, those hidden agents could hold a quest, like a bounty, like 801 does for the Synthweave for Transmog, but it's deep sight harmonizers. And you're locked to one a week, or maybe a few a season. That way you can't just in one season grab every gun, because apparently that's an issue Bungie has with the system. I just wish there's more places other than the season pass to get deep sight harmonizers, because getting those past seasonal craftable weapons isn't that easy. So I'm not tempted to use it on current weapons to get them faster, because if I'm missing things from the past, I want to focus on getting those because it's harder to get those red borders now. So just having more ways to get deep sight harmonizers, even if they're expensive, would be cool. And I think a great place to start with that would be the hidden agents in the Enclave. Next up, I want to talk about Bungie's ability to roll out content. And I'm not talking about PvP or Gambit here, but PvE, Bungie is pumping out content, honestly. Look at Overwatch 2, and that has its own development problems, but they shut down development for the first game for years to make the PvE mode for Overwatch 2. And now that PvE mode, in a few months, you have to pay $15. That doesn't include a battle pass at all to get like 3 missions. Bungie isn't even that stingy with the missions. This season was $12, and it came with the battle pass, the seasonal story, new loot, new ways to play the game essentially. Overwatch 2 PvE lost out on skill trees, so you're just playing the hero the same way it plays in PvP, but in PvE. Whereas in Destiny 2, you have 3 classes, which all have 5 different subclasses, which can have different supers, melees, grenades, aspects, fragments, all that stuff, exotics. There's so many different ways you could build into your character that a lot of games don't have, but yet they're able to make the seasons have more content in them than other games, and the expansions also for a lower price. And like, there's a lot of monetization issues in Destiny 2, but the seasonal price being at $12 really isn't that bad compared to other games, at least in the FPS space. And it's kind of rare now that we get a delay. Lightfall expansion was not even delayed. It came out when it was always supposed to. Witch Queen was delayed, is the biggest delay, but seasonal content doesn't get delayed normally. And I think that's something we got to give Bungie credit for, is their ability to pump out content. And it's usually a pretty decent quality. It's better quality than a lot of other games get for their PvE modes that have events and things like that. So yeah, good on Bungie for being able to make seasonal content as much seasonal content as they do, as much reasons to grind as they do, for the price they do it, as consistently as they do it. Another new thing I want to talk about is deep dives. I love deep dives, at least in theory. Some of the encounters aren't my favorite, but I do love the roguelite feel that deep dives give. It's something different within Destiny that I think they could expand more on in the future. I would love for them to do that. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Deep dives, love them. I touched on this already, but I just want to reemphasize the variety of builds you can have. You have 3 different classes, which each have 5 different subclasses. You have 6 damage types. You have over 200 exotics, and you can wear 1 weapon, 1 armor at the same time. You have the seasonal artifact. Each subclass has different supers, melees, grenades, aspects, fragments, all this stuff. There's so many ways you can build in Destiny 2 that you can make so many builds that work in endgame content that don't replicate someone else's. Now, not everything is endgame viable. Obviously, there's quite a few things that are bad, and I hope they do address that, but there's a lot you can do. If you get bored of a playstyle, you can just swap things around until you find something else you like that really a lot of people don't know about. So yeah, I love the build variety that Destiny has, and I hope they explore that more in the future. I believe no one has truly tried Destiny 2 until they have completed a raid. Raids and dungeons are the pinnacle of Destiny 2, and I love them. Dungeons not so much. I think dungeons are a great stepping stone for players to learn between strikes and raids. It's like, oh, you know how to do a strike? How about we introduce more puzzle-like, more mechanical mechanics, you know? So they learn how to do a dungeon next, and then they can jump into a raid and learn that. And raids and dungeons always have me excited every time they come around. I think dungeons being the price they are, especially Grasp. Grasp is way overpriced. Dungeons, I wish we got a free one. Maybe not every year, but every once in a while. I would love that, especially if they brought back Crota's End as a raid. Not a raid, a dungeon. That'd be sick. And it was free. But yeah, raids and dungeons are great. I want more of them. Root of Nightmares wasn't quite what I wanted. It's fun, but it's not like, it's just not as good as the other ones we have in the game. I'd rather play any other raid, but if I want to turn my brain off, it's good for that. I don't think it should have been an expansion tied raid for as expensive as Lightfall was, but it's still okay. But yeah, raids and dungeons are great. I hope Bungie keeps making them better and maybe more mechanical in the future, but overall they're pretty fun. Now, here is something I love about Destiny 2 that a lot of people won't probably agree with, and it's hard to explain, but the feel of the guns in Destiny is just great. I don't know why. It has to be something with the Tiger engine versus other engines, but playing Destiny 2 feels better than a lot of other games. It just does. I don't really know how to explain it, but I hope Bungie doesn't like change that formula of shooting any like at all, because the way it feels It's just so responsive. I don't know. I just love the way the game feels to play, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's just another thing. Do not get me started on the lore of Destiny 2. I'm working on a Xivu Wrath lore video that will happen at some point. But I want to explore more lore content because I've always been a fan of the Destiny lore for however long. This 9 years is how long I've been playing. So yeah, I love the lore in Destiny 2. And if you don't get into the lore, check out for Mylan, any of those guys that do lore videos, or my lore videos whenever they happen. It's pretty cool. Yeah, just check out the lore, man. It's sick. Next thing is the creative design that Bungie has. Destiny 2 aesthetically doesn't feel like it doesn't look like anything else really. It has obvious inspirations from other things, but has carved out its own design and aesthetic that I really enjoy. Like, okay, I know Rooted Nightmares isn't my favorite raid mechanically and gameplay wise, and it really isn't many people's, but just walk around and look at that raid. I think we have to give Bungie some credit there, obviously, because the design of the dungeon and the way it looks is amazing compared to everything else we have in the game, which is already pretty cool. So yeah, I love the designing of the things in the game and the aesthetics of everything. And this is going to kind of wrap it up. And this kind of ties into the last thing, the seasonal theming. We went from having Eris Morn give therapy to pirates, and now we have underwater deep sea theming for our season. And Bungie just jumps off the deep end, does random things for a theme, and it's still cool and fits into the design of Destiny 2 somehow. And I'm excited to see how that goes after the final shape. I'm expecting things to get way weirder after that even. So yeah, this video is way shorter than the other one, and that isn't anything bad about Bungie. It's just harder to talk about things that you enjoy other than saying, this is good, I hope they keep it up, versus, I don't like this, maybe can we fix it like this, or whatever. It's harder to give suggestions about things that you already love. And there's more things I like about Destiny than this. Like, there's a reason I come back and play a lot. So, obviously, I have things I like about the game. And this is just a sampling of it and some recent things that came to mind. So tell me what you like or dislike about Destiny 2 in the comments. And hopefully Bungie sees this, if you agree with this stuff, of course. And, takes notes about what people enjoy doing in the game. Not just, hey, we force people to play this activity, and it has a lot of activity, so we should do more things like this. Listen to what people are saying about that content, and this is stuff I like. And I hope Bungie keeps going on with it. So yeah, that's pretty much this video. Thank you for watching.